Masculinity has been under attack since the 1960s, as we've seen marriage rates have declined, and just having a masculine father in the household, even if the percentages are still there today, that doesn't include the fathers that are in the household that are not masculine, because I see a lot of guys walking around, especially nowadays, that might be a husband, but they're playing the feminine submissive role to their wives. So I don't know if we'd actually consider that a masculine man, even though they are married and they have a wedding ring on. But right now what we're seeing is a pushback and a fight to preserve masculinity in the United States. And what's going on and what we're going to continue to see is the left, is Hollywood, is all of these elites trying to continue to tear down masculinity and make it okay for femininity and men and women to blend into one type of gender. All right, so there's just one gender and it's just gender fluid and there's no identification. You can be whatever you want to be, because once you take men out of that position, and we've seen this in certain wars in the past that I will not mention due to copyright issues and demonetization, but if you look this up, once you remove the men from these certain areas, once you remove the men from the house, it is much easier to conquer and destroy that particular region and rule over those people that live in that area, because the men are the protectors. The men are the ones that are creating everything. The men are the ones that fight back. The women are not in that position. So once you take away the men, there's no one to protect these women. All right, so let's just read what Candace Owens had to say about this whole situation with Harry Styles. If you don't know what happened, basically Vogue put out a photo shoot of Harry Styles and he was wearing a dress. He was wearing feminine clothing, all right, women's clothing. And he talked about how he loved the fusion of wearing women's clothing. And what we're seeing is Hollywood's praising him, promoting it. And what we see a lot of times, especially with comedians and rappers, they will try to fuse and make it seem like it's okay for men to dress in a way that is effeminate and not masculine, because they're trying to tear down the patriarchy, like I've been saying on this channel. All right, so this is the article. It comes from the New York Post, and Candace Owens, if you don't know, she's a political activist. She's right-wing, so we're not gonna go into detail about that because I try to stay away from politics on this channel, but she basically goes into talking about bring back the manly man, all right? And so this is her reaction to this tweet right here, all right, that was sent out by Vogue Magazine. This is what they said in their tweet. There's so much joy to be had in playing with clothes. I've never thought too much about what it means. It just becomes this extended part of creating something. All right, so this is Harry Styles, and this is him wearing a dress, very effeminate. This is what Candace Owens tweeted right after this was published. She goes on to say, there is no society that can survive without strong men. The East knows this. In the West, the steady feminization of our men at the same time that Marxism is being taught to our children is not a coincidence. It is an outright attack. Bring back manly men. And I could not agree with her anymore. This is clearly an attack on masculinity, all right? This really is. And I've seen, just notice how there's such a push for these leftists and these people in Hollywood to promote this kind of behavior from men, and they're saying it's acceptable. And what we see is a lot of the youth and the young children growing up thinking that this is okay. It's okay to wear dresses. It's okay to dress as a woman and wear makeup. It's okay to not know what your gender is, and you can just be whatever you want to be. You can identify as whatever. And this confuses men, and it removes men from the household in the end. And you know, we're gonna lose a lot of our masculinity in the future if this continues. He's dragging the patriarchy down. So says conservative firebrand Candace Owens of 26-year-old cherry singer Harry Styles' new American Vogue cover, in which he wears a ball gown and a custom Gucci jacket. There is no society that can survive without strong men, she wrote in a response to the photos of Styles, who with the cover became Vogue's first solo male cover star. And he only became Vogue's first solo male cover star because he's wearing women's clothing. And that's the agenda they're trying to promote, and that's what they want more and more men to do, because then it's easier to control a population once you remove men. The East knows this, the West knows this, and the study of the feminization of our men, I already talked about this. The tweet has racked up more than 74,000 likes. Its most liked response came from actress and filmmaker Olivia Wilde, who has over 58,000 likes and reads, "You're pathetic." And I did some research on Olivia Wilde, and she's dated men like Justin Timberlake, Jake Gyllenhaal, and Ben Affleck. So guys like this, or women like this, I should say, they like those bad boy type of characters, all right? Now, I know these guys play different roles in real life than they do in the movies, but clearly this is a woman in Olivia Wilde who's saying you're pathetic for this, but she herself likes more masculine looking men, all right? Now, these guys probably aren't masculine in person, they probably aren't, but the roles they play in movies, you know, the attention they get from women would have you believe that these are masculine men for Hollywood, okay? For Hollywood. But she's so quick to throw the first stone and judge another woman for wanting to bring back masculine men when she's dating masculine men, and she's dated masculine men in the past, if you just look at her dating history. In the Vogue profile, Styles talks openly about his love for traditionally female clothing. I'll go into shops sometimes and I just find myself looking at the women's clothes thinking they're amazing, he told the magazine. I've never once just walked into a female's clothing store and really just had a desire to put on some high heels and a dress and put on some makeup and smell the perfume and walk around and click, clack, you know, and walk down the halls and look at myself in the mirror. And, you know, I've never had that desire as a man. So I don't know, like, if it's a mental thing or what, because this is not normal behavior. You know, this is not normal behavior from a straight male. This is not, all right? I'm gonna just say that right now. But they'll try to make you think it's normal behavior. You can never be overdressed. There's no such thing. He's inspired by gender-blurring male showmen, including David Bowie, Prince, Elvis, Freddie Mercury, and Elton John, who he also looks up to musically. While flamboyant outfits felt mind-blowing as a child, today he feels comfortable in more extreme outfits. Now I'll put on something that feels really flamboyant and I don't feel crazy wearing it. I think if you get something that you feel amazing in, it's like a superhero outfit, he said. Clothes are there to have fun and experiment with and play with. What's really exciting is that all of these lines are just kind of crumbling away. You see how they're trying to make you desensitized to what's going on? It's okay to dress effeminate. It's okay if you wear women's clothing and you're a man. It's okay, all right? You're judging if you think it's wrong. You're being a misogynist if you think it's wrong. This is what they're doing. And then they will block channels like this that talk against it. They will block people like Candace Owens and people that go against and push back against this new world lunatic just thinking and extreme left weirdo thinking. This is what they're gonna do. When you take away, there's clothes for men and there's clothes for women. Once you remove any barriers, obviously you open up the arena in which you can play. See guys, this is a true attack on masculinity, and now it's getting more and more public. Shout out though to Candace Owens. I put Candace Owens for the win because she is protecting the masculine figure, the patriarchy, by defending us as men, as the leaders in society, because we need more masculine men. What Hollywood wants you to think is it's okay to dress like a woman, it's okay to be feminine, it's okay to be in touch with your emotions, when we as a society, for the most part, have been led by masculine men and the patriarchy, which is why we've been able to accomplish as much as we have. And what we're starting to see is now that they're chipping away at that, and now that they're making this seem more normalized, the society is actually starting to fall apart a little bit, you know? It really is. And we're seeing decline in marriages, decline in births, decline in long-term relationships, and a bit of a gender war. I'm not saying that all women want men to dress effeminate like this, but I'm saying there is a push from pop culture that is telling men that it's okay to dress like this and act like a woman, think like a woman, you know, and behave like a woman. And that being masculine and being a man is old order thinking. And the new order thinking is no blurred lines, anything goes. But once you open the door to anything goes, then you know anything actually goes. And what we'll start to see is just a whole lot of craziness going on. And once there's no barriers, you know, anything's allowed to happen. So who knows what this can lead to? And the destruction of more young men growing up thinking this is okay behavior, and that there shouldn't be judgment, and you should be able to dress the way you want to dress. You know, I should maybe enter the show next week when I make a YouTube video with the wig on, with the dress, with my nails done, if that's how we're gonna roll now, maybe some lipstick, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, I'm not going to embrace pop culture and what's going on. I'm going to stand apart, which is what I tell you guys to do, because there's going to be a push for this type of stuff in the future to continue, all right? We're going to continue to see things like this happen. And if you speak out against it, well, you will be canceled. You cannot offend these leftist snowflakes because their agenda is to destroy you as a man. So we need to fight back against it and be strong in our masculinity. Don't be emotional with it, but just realize there is an attack. So I'm going to stay strong and grounded in my masculinity, and I'm not going to give in. And if you do have children, if you do have a family, you have to promote masculine values, and you have to be a strong male leader, okay? Because society is going to tell you that it's okay to not do that. But what will end up happening is you will create your own lineage of emasculated men, and in the future, the ruling class, the people that are in charge of all this promotion of this lunatic stuff, they're going to take over because men are out of the family unit, and men, or the males that used to be there, are now women, and women are now men. You know, the reversal of genders, we see it happening right in front of us every single day. If you go out to your grocery store, if you go out just in your day-to-day life, the roles are starting to slowly reverse, and it's kind of scary to see this. So it's a lot to think about. I like to hear your guys' comments in the comment section below. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what other content you want to see. Be sure to send me articles at youngmensdailyredpill@gmail.com. Until next time, guys. Oh, also drop a like on the video. Have a good one. I'm out.